Hey everyone, it's the Gadget Group. This is going to be a video about all the people bitching about Heavy Storm being banned, and that back rows are going to be like OP this format and shit. Like, first of all, Heavy Storm being banned was a good thing. If you think Heavy Storm was not a broken card, you're either mentally retarded or you're just like severely like delusional. I'm not sure which. Like, Heavy Storm was one of the most broken cards in the game. That's why it got banned. It happened to Cold Wave, it happened to Giant Trinity, it happened to Heavy Storm. Like, it's a one card, it's a single card in the game that you can draw, and you could just throw it down and just like win the game from it. Like, it's not, it wasn't a good card in any way, shape, or form. Like, it just promoted a very bad format. It literally was like, oh, you have back rows, that's nice, I don't care. Heavy Storm, I win. No, that's not how the game should be played. That takes no skill, takes no thought process of anything. It just is just derp. That's all it is. So first of all, Heavy Storm being banned was a good thing, and like, Heavy Storm was a really bad card for the game. The second thing is this format being dominated by back rows. A lot of people have seen the Chain Beat deck popping up. Gladiator Beasts are seeing more play. Crystal Beasts are seeing some more play, which I'm really excited about. Gravekeepers are seeing more play. Gadgets are seeing more play. All these anti-meta decks are able to come back and, play again because the format has slowed down a lot. Heavy Storm got knocked out of the game. A lot of the power cards got knocked out of the game, making the deck playable again. And for past couple days, I've heard people bitching about it in real life. I've heard people bitching about it on Wing Network. I've heard people bitching about it on forums. And I've seen people bitching about it on Facebook. That they don't like that this format is back row heavy. Well, tough shit. We just played 2 years of no back row formats. Like, you can deal with like one back row format, or you can deal with back row formats for the next 2 years. Either way, it's fair game. I mean, the last 2 years have been back rows don't even fucking matter because the decks don't care. I mean, like, okay, for example, Wind and Derps when they first came out. I give no shits. Your entire hand goes to the graveyard, I win. That was just it. It was I loop your hand to the graveyard and I win. How is that fair? How is that competitive? How does that take skill? It doesn't. My 11-year-old fucking sister could play the deck. Like, literally, I showed her the combo when Wind Up first came out, and she could play the deck and beat people. Just because, like, the combo is stupid. Like, that's how the decks are, like, have been being made lately. Inzectors were the same thing. Inzectors were, oh, I got Hornet in the graveyard? Sweet, I win. That's not skill. Anyone who said that the original wind-ups or Inzectors took skill, you don't know what the definition of skill is. Let me put it that way. You don't know what the definition of skill is. This format will require mad amounts of intellect, skill, thinking, and resourcefulness. Like, this format will be an amazing format because it's such a wide open format. You actually have to think about building a deck. You have to think about what deck you want to play, why you want to play that deck, what you think you're going to be playing against. You have to prepare your side deck for over 30 or 40 different decks that you could verse. Like, that's amazing. Like, for the last 2 years, the formats have pretty much predominantly been 3 or 4 decks. That's pretty much it. You'll get the random deck here or there in like regionals and stuff, but at the top tables, you only saw like 4 decks. And each format had its own like 4 decks or whatever. The last format was Dragons, Spellbooks, Evil Swarm, and like, I think it was Atlanteans was the 4th deck. But it was like 3 to 4 decks that were just, that's all you saw at the top tables. This next format, I firmly believe, we'll probably see a lot of Dragon Plants at the top tables because that's going to be a really popular deck. And when you have 90% of the tournament playing one deck, you're going to see that deck. That's just going to happen. But I firmly believe this next format will see tons of decks come back from old formats ages ago that nobody remembers and they don't know how to play against, so people are going to win with it. And then people are going to realize those decks are good and start playing them, and then people are going to start playing cards to side against them, and the format will keep changing. That's what Konami did. Like, they made a ever-changing format pretty much. And we're going to see that, like, as the YCSs continue. Like, this YCS coming up in YCS Toronto in September, I think? Yeah, YCS Toronto, I think it is. I'm not sure if that's the YCS, but I think it is. This is going to be on the first using the new ban list. Like, that's going to be a very interesting YCS. It's going to set the pace for the next YCS. But in no way will the next YCS be dominated by the same deck as the September YCS, because people will see that deck and then prepare to verse that deck. So then when that deck comes into the next YCS, it's going to have a bunch of stuff going against it, and it's going to get filtered down, and new decks will pop up. Now, after a couple YCSs or so, after, like, also something that Konami did that's really cool is a 3-month ban list. That means, literally, every 3 months is a new ban list. So they're going to filter the formats. Like, you will have a ever-changing format if they do it correctly, which is what they're trying to do, which is an amazing idea. Having a format that is ever-changing, you have to keep adapting to it to become a good player in this game. I'm super excited about this. Like, I was talking to my locals on today, Troy, and, like, I'm super excited. Like, it's one of the best formats. Like, he doesn't even play anymore, and he agrees that this was an amazing idea on Konami. Like, by Konami, he agrees this was an amazing idea, like, stellar idea. I mean, an ever-changing format in which players have to evolve and, like, play at a professional level to keep at the top tables. I mean, I'm going to start picking up Yu-Gi-Oh! Seriously again. Like, I'm going to go to YCSs again. I'm going to go to, like, every regionals we have. I mean, I'm going to play again. I mean, and that's rare for me to say. Like, for the last 2 years, I pretty much have told myself I'm not going to play anymore. I really don't care. I mean, I'll play Final Countdown or Self-Destruct Button once in a while, but competitively, I'm not going to play because there's no point. Well, the game was ruined. It really was. I mean, that's just the simple fact of it. And then Konami does this, and I'm just like, why do you do this to me, Konami? I had so many other plans, and now those plans are out the window because you balanced your game. So I said, like, I'm going to be putting a ton of videos up because I've got so much to talk about, and it's going to be such a fun format. I am going to the YCS on October 4th, YCS San Mateo, I think. So I will try and do a video diary, blog thing, whatever of that, as I'm going through the event to let you guys know and let you see. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, as for Heavy Storm being banned, stop bitching about it. It's good that the card's gone. Like, it's not the only spell and trap destruction out there. I mean, if you really want spell and trap destruction, use your brain. I mean, like, play Black Wings. Like, if you really hate back rows, play Black Wings. Excuse me. 3 anti-reverse Delta Crow and 3 Icarus attacks. Go ham. Just, like, go nuts. Just, like, start blowing everything up. Play dragons. Wingbeat of a giant dragon. It's been there for God knows how long, and people are still not using it. Like, use cards in the game. Like, they were made for a reason, people. Stop relying on, like, herp-derp format and actually think for yourself for once. Malevolent Catastrophe, one of the easiest ways to get rid of all back row. I mean, if you really just don't want to get rid of back row, you could run, like, a plant dragon deck with 3 Wingbeat of a giant dragon and 3 Malevolent Catastrophe, and you're guaranteed that your opponent will, like, basically never have back row. I mean, that's just how it is. Like, I mean, Black Rose is so easy to make now. I mean, I just don't see why people are complaining about back rows. You've got Rule Decree at 3, you've got Traps done at 3, you've got all these cards that destroy spell and trap cards. Stop complaining, start thinking, you know, just be a good player for once. I mean, that's actually, like, I'm saying that to everyone. Like, not only pro players, but even, like, players who just go to locals. Like, start thinking about different tech cards now, because cards can work that didn't work before, because the format will be a lot slower. Like Shard of Greed. We're seeing Shard of Greed everywhere in tons of decks now, because it's a much slower format. And you can play Shard of Greed, and your opponent either has to burn an MST on it, or you're going to draw 2 in, like, 2 turns. I mean, every now and then, like, they can, like, play Scrap Dragon or something against it, but for the most part, they have to burn MST. So, basically, stop complaining, start thinking. Awesome format. Super psyched. More videos to come. This is the Gadget Guru, and I'll catch you later.